Okay, and I think we're live. Welcome back. Hi, I'm John Ball, the CTO and founder of Pad Inc. And what we're going to do today is have a little bit of fun, and we're going to go through the new One World system that we designed back in 2020. Amazingly, it's taken a couple of years to come to fruition, to be in beta now. And one of the things that I committed to before we went live was to do some thorough testing, so to be innovative. And I think one of the interesting things is we have the opportunity of simply using this new virtual agent to see what the next generation of conversational AI interfaces will look like. Now, last time I talked a bit about what it was that we did to come up with this design, and at its core, at the core of next generation technology is a virtual agent. It's like the travel agent. And in this case, the travel agent's job is to get the user requirements from the user, and then it will handle all of the back-end implementation. That's how systems should work. Why should you be entering the date that you leave and the time that you leave and select the flight number from a list of flights if what you're trying to do is maybe five stops around the world? Wouldn't it be better to have, as you do with the travel agent, say, I want to go to these places, and they say, here's what I found for you. How does this look? And the how does it look thing is a really important feature of next generation systems. Today, if you're using a conversational interface, you're usually using the dialogue, your speech, and you're remembering what you've said and what the machine has said. But making this multimodal, you're actually also able to see a map, you're able to see the plan, you're able to see your itinerary, all of those things that make it easy for you to see visually what the machine has understood. And based on what you're seeing, you can then make changes to it, in this case using language understanding or with a hybrid system of IT in order to use language and integrate your experience. It's pretty amazing implementation, I've got to say. But the fun today comes in the good, the bad, and the ugly. I know how the system's been designed, and I know what it's supposed to do. What we can do is see what it actually does. And most of the things I think you're going to find are really, really good. There's a few things that you might say, oh, it shouldn't do that. That's kind of bad. And then there's some stuff that I would call ugly in that definitely shouldn't do this if it's a language understanding system. Maybe there won't be any of those, but who knows? That's going to be my categorization system. Okay, so let's move on rather than me just chatting. Let's clear the screen a little bit and let's have a look at this One World site. Okay, so let's go into booking. Let's book. This is around the world. This is the old system that you can see, and when the system moves from beta to production, so from soft launch to hard launch, you'll see the system switch, and the default will be the virtual assistant. But this virtual agent is there, and that's the one that we want to look at today. There's a few options here that you can see. Let's make this a little bit different to the last run that I did. We'll have 2 adults flying business class around the world this time. And you'll see that this type of interface is what you expect from an IT system. Some pull downs, you make a selection, you click. But on this right side of the screen, you can see the virtual agent's interaction. You can see what's actually happening. The seat class is set to business. The number of travelers has been set to 2 adults. And there's a dialogue going on amongst that. And the first question, interestingly, there was a timeout and you got an extra prompt. From what city would you like to depart? And as our R&D lab at Pad Inc. is in Sydney, Australia, let's start from Sydney. Who knows, maybe I can get a good insight into how to get back home to Silicon Valley. Okay, multiple cities named Sydney, so we'll go with SYD. I'm not sure if SYD is selectable. We'll find out. And the first thing that I wanted to do when I visit my travel agent, or I have a travel agent book something for me, is I want the price. I need to know whether I can afford this thing before I go and do all of the details about where I'm going to go. So it's giving me a price here. That's the price for 3 continents, 4 continents. Interestingly enough, the price I don't think is too dissimilar for a Sydney to San Francisco flight at the moment, which is quite curious. Maybe it's a really good time to book one of these tickets and try it out. Certainly, it would be good for showing that our system gets the job done for you. Okay, let's add some cities. Well, let's see. I want to go to San Francisco, Los Angeles, LAX. I'm going to use these names if I can think of them. I want to go to Tokyo. I don't know. There's a couple of airports there, so I'll just say Tokyo, Paris, Madrid, Chicago, and I don't know if JFK works. Let's try JFK for. That's probably not the airport name, but we'll see. So all I've done is enter those destinations. Now the system's going away and finding out whether or not I can build a RTW round the world ticket based on those. So what have we got? Chicago, LA, Madrid, New York, Paris, San Francisco, and Tokyo. Hey, that's good. So it even knew that New York, JFK was what we're looking for there. That's pretty cool. Now, do we want to add any place? Sure. Let's see if we can add Rome. So this is the idea of how does this look. So we can now see our itinerary on the map, and now you can say add Rome. Maybe we can say delete Madrid. That's the level of interaction that you have possible here. Would we like to make any changes to the destination cities? So I'll say no. Okay, so optimizing city ordering. So now we're seeing the plan drawn out. Okay, the initial itinerary travels westward. You can change it by asking me to reverse your trip direction. That sounds pretty good. Let's go the other way. Reverse. Okay, it's redrawing the screens. Nice. So now you can see we're going to Tokyo first, across to the US, goes to New York, then Chicago. Don't really like that. So let's just change New York for SFO. I don't know if you can do that. I mean, you'd probably want to change all of the orders around. So now we're going to SFO first, then Chicago, then LA. So, I mean, all of these things are going to depend on what your business or friend associates are able to do for your travel. But interestingly, this is a valid trip where you're going around the world and stopping on different parts of the country, but meeting the itinerary requirements. I just think that's excellent. That's another good feature. Do we want to make any more changes? No. Now, it says, what do we want to do? Save itinerary, or I'm ready to set dates. To set dates. Oh, okay. Sorry, I was not able to understand that. Can you try saying it another way? Would you like to make changes? So I think this is what you would call the ugly, because I think it's just been missed by the implementers. If you're going to use a clickbot, and that's where you put something on the screen to click on, if you're not able to handle an NLU at the same time, then you should disable the NLU. I've seen that happen with this system before. I don't particularly like clickbots for that reason. I think it's much better to just have the flow going with language, but we're now back there. So presumably I can click and it's going to work fine, but I wonder if we could say ready. Maybe it just needs a short word that it recognizes. That's not a, what would you, oh, okay. So it's just misunderstanding this. That's not a problem. So this is either the bad or the ugly, but that's why we're doing the testing. So what would we like to change? I don't know, maybe add Dallas. There was a TV series in Dallas at some stage, so let's get it to add that. Not sure how many cities you can get. I thought it was like 5 or something in a particular zone, so it seems to have had no trouble with that. That's pretty good. So I'm ready to set dates. So let's click on this and stop upsetting it. When would you like to begin? Okay, so I showed this on the last podcast. So if I say in 3 weeks, it's not recognizing this correctly, or it wasn't then. Oh, okay. I think we have a misunderstanding. I expect you to provide a date, but what you wrote was a duration. So in 3 weeks is actually not a duration. It's a time frame in the NLU field. But I think if we went back here, it would probably tell us some help as to how to do this, and it wouldn't allow me to do that. Okay, we can choose dates like 12th of Jan. The thing I wanted to do is be quite natural. So can we say second week of Feb? Not even going to write February because that's a long name. That'd be cool if we could do that. Okay, it's beginning 12th February. That's awesome. Well done. When you get errors here, you have to also remember this is not an intelligent machine that you're testing out. I'm testing it out, sure, for NLU, but it's not an intelligent machine. The goal is to get the job done. And if you're a traveler trying to get a job done and this thing can do it and you're not trying to trick it, we're doing well. Okay, your trip start date is in the past. Please enter a new start date in the future. Well, I didn't give it a year. Come on, guys. Let's just say Feb. Maybe if we say Feb, it's going to default to next year. So I think that's a bug too that needs to be sorted out. How long would you? Yeah, so that's fixed it. So it's going February next year. It didn't work when we said second week of Feb, but that's just a small coding change. How long would you like your trip to take? Well, let's be. Will we make it a? No, we'll make it a business trip. So 1 month to do all those stops is pretty generous. Maybe you get a weekend off here or there. Okay, so we've said 1 month, 8 weeks, 90 days. I mean, I really love this stuff. The fact that you can do a date like that is just awesome. I mean, this is what NLU should be doing. And, okay, now we're getting a violation of business rules, working on potential solutions. Okay, so in the past, you would get like error A32. And I don't know what I didn't know what that meant, but you had to sort it out. Let's see if we can do that here. It's not really the point of this demonstration to show this level of detail, but your itinerary is okay. So here's the point. Your itinerary is invalid for the following reasons: it exceeds the 4 flight segments in Europe, Middle East. Although you requested 2 segments, there was some redirection and stuff, and that's again because COVID and airlines are shutting down some things. So if you drop one of the following, maybe that'll work. So we'll get rid of Rome. I didn't really want to go there again anyway. So I've clicked on Rome. Do I have to click that? Yep. Okay. I noticed that I clicked on Rome and then I had to hit the enter button. That's not that good. But anyway, let's see if it can remember everything else that we've done to this point and then take us to the next stage. Hope so. I don't want this video to take hours. I probably didn't say this stream, but seriously, I've used the previous system and I've spent 45 minutes and an hour to not get my ticket. I got caught with all sorts of crazy errors. And then once this first draft of the beta system was made not by us, but by this organization that we brought in for One World, those guys blew it away in a few weeks. And you could see that this was a really good solution for this problem. Okay, ready to look up flights. Okay, I think we tried that before. I'm just going back up here. Did we say that? No, okay. I don't quite remember what's happened, but we're now looking up flights. We had an error last time. It might have picked that up before we got to this stage. 9 segments can take up to 2 minutes. So that's an awful lot of selection for the time ranges that we've set to go and find flights that are in the time frames that the system's generated. In fact, while it's doing that, let's just have a look. Here's our itinerary on the left-hand side. So you've got Tokyo for 3 days, San Francisco for 3 days. Oh, that's right, because we've made this a short trip, for a month. It's made up the times and the dates without asking those hundreds and hundreds of annoying questions. When do you want to leave? What date? What time? So it's done all of that for us. And now it's just going through to find for each one of these legs, is there an appropriate seat in the right class that allows us to do this flight? And assuming we've set it for next February, so when is it now? We're almost October, so we've given it a few months. Maybe there's enough flights to find what we need. Yes, look at that. That is very good. Well done, guys. So we're going Japan Airlines, American Airlines, Iberia, Qatar. So all of those flights have have been put together. These are the most direct flights it's selected. And now, as a traveler, either if you're a business traveler, maybe a PA would be then playing around with the specifics of the flights. Maybe as a holiday traveler, you'd be aligning your frequent flyer miles with the carrier that you want. But we're now at a good point, because that was a really hard step to get through in the existing RTW systems that are database driven rather than next generation agent driven. Let's finalize the price and see if we get out of this in less than 20 minutes. So remember, 45 minutes to an hour to fail. I'm talking about this, I'm trying a few things, and we're actually seeing great results in, look at that. So we've now got a total price. So that's for 2 travelers going business class for all of that. It's done a great job at helping me. And now you can see it's asking, do we want to proceed to booking, give feedback, book later, etc. So the only thing that didn't seem to work, there were a couple of little glitches, so a couple of bad and uglies, but predominantly this is good. This is something that I think you would enjoy, just jumping on after this call and booking yourself a round the world ticket. I think you deserved it. But seriously, it's very impressive to see us at this point. So let's get rid of that. Okay, so look, that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to have a quick run through, show you the features in a bit more detail, talk about what the drivers were to get to those features, and see what the next generation of conversational AI will look like. There's a lot to making all of this work. It's not just a good design. It's not just good implementation. You need to know a lot about the business model that you're trying to solve in order to produce one of these agent type systems. But there's a working version, number one. Well done, team. So I'll just say that'll be me signing off for today. Feel free to comment, to like, to feedback to the team if you're using the system online and you've got something that you don't see working right. And that's it for today. All the best. Take care.